ever feel like, you want to dive deeper into your faith, maybe a little more structure would help.
Yeah, I get that, like having a roadmap or something.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today.
Mm.
We're going to be looking at Foundations of Faith. It's this journal.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it was created by Dr. Willie L. Sneed III
Okay, yeah.
for his new school, the PBC School of Ministry.
A whole school.
I know, right? And get this, the school is all about, like, bringing more people to Jesus
Okay, that makes sense.
through education.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they even call it being the hands and feet of Jesus.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a really cool way to put it. It really captures their whole mission,
For sure.
Anyway, so this journal, I think it kind of gives us a peek into how they're approaching things.
Yeah.
You know,
Like a sneak peek behind the curtain.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not just your typical, sermon notes kind of thing.
So what's so special about it?
Well, there's like specific sections for different things. You get sermon notes, obviously, but then there's scripture memorization.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then there's this prompt at the end of each lesson, right? It asks, how can I apply this message to my life?
Ooh, I like that. That's really getting you thinking.
Right. It's not just about passively listening.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you actually take this stuff and make it part of your everyday life?
Totally. So it's more than just a notebook. It's like a guide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get this, lessons 1 through 6, they all follow the same format.
Interesting.
So I'm thinking maybe it's set up as a progressive curriculum,
Yeah, that would make sense.
like it builds on itself each week.
Yeah, yeah.
Could be really good for people who are like new to structured faith study,
Totally. It's like a good intro course.
Or maybe even for folks who just want to brush up on the basics.
Yeah, a good refresher.
And check this out. Right at the beginning, there's this quote. It's from 2 Timothy 3.16-17. It says, all scripture is given by God, useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness.
Wow, that's powerful.
Right. It really sets the tone.
Yeah, like their mission statement.
And it totally ties into the whole practical application thing the journal's all about.
Definitely. Speaking of practical, let's talk about Dr. Sneed for a sec. This guy, he's got 2 major roles at the school.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
So he's the senior pastor,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. So he leads the church.
Uh-huh. But he's also the headmaster.
Wow. So he's running the school, too. That's a lot on his plate.
Right. He's basically in charge of everything, sets the vision and all that.
What do you think that says about his approach to education?
Well, to me, it says he's all about that holistic approach. Blending faith with academics and character development, all of it together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's another layer here. Dr. Sneed, he leads schools not just in Florida, but also in Ghana.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Right. Like, talk about a broader vision.
Yeah. Imagine the different perspectives you'd get in that school, right? People from all walks of life.
So to kind of bring this all back to our listeners, this Foundations of Faith journal, it's like a physical example of what this PBC School of Ministry is all about.
Totally. And you know what? Even if someone can't actually go to the school, the journal itself can still be super helpful.
How so?
Well, it gives you that framework for engaging with your faith on a deeper level.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like having that structure and guidance right there in your hands.
Exactly.
Imagine how that could change the way you process and apply those teachings.
Couldn't agree more. And for anyone out there who is looking for that deeper connection, PBC School of Ministry might be worth checking out. Classes actually start January 4th, 2025.
Yeah, definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive. It's been a fascinating one.
My pleasure. It was a great discussion.